started with meeting of the Regional Transportation Commission.
Thanks,
Ms.
Chairman. Good morning. Your first agenda is to conduct your first citizens participation period.
This is the first time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to provide public comment with regards to any matters on today's RTC agenda, please step forward to the microphone, state your name, spell your last name for the record, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing no public comment, we'll go ahead and close the first public comment period, and I'll turn it back over to Ms. Maynard.
Thanks, Chairman. Next item is to approve the agenda, which is in order and ready for your approval.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda. There's a motion on the floor to approve the agenda. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Excellent, thank you. And the next item is to receive the CEO report. Make sure everybody's here. Okay, good. So first, we'd like to acknowledge our dear friend and colleague, Raymond Fletcher, who recently passed away. With him was his companion, 24/7 Hercules. He dedicated over 3 years to the RTC. We first met him a few years ago when he showed up at a commission meeting to talk about our fixed route service. He was a paratransit eligible customer, but he did not want to ride paratransit. He wanted to ride fixed route. And he was such an advocate for equity in how people move throughout the community. He then was a substitute teacher here in Las Vegas, and then Keolis hired him. And then we were lucky enough to bring him on board about 3 years ago, and he passed away about a month and a half ago, and for that we miss him dearly. We're very appreciative for the insight and the empathy that he brought to his job. He made us a better agency and certainly a better community. And he will be deeply missed. So I'd also like to acknowledge one of our longest serving paratransit operators who sadly passed away. Shirley's work as a paratransit driver exemplified service above self. Shirley's dedication ensured safe, dignified transportation for riders who rely on us every single day. We want to honor her for her dedication and express our sympathy to her family and loved ones. And this is not an easy job. It takes a tremendous human being with a really big heart to do this for over 30 years, and she certainly made our community better as well. Shirley's son is here today, Patrick, as well as some of her family members. Patrick, would you like to come down to accept a crystal bus on behalf of Shirley? You and your family, all of you, come down and take a picture with our commissioners. Thank you. Patrick, thank you to you and your family for being here today. Next, we would like to recognize the TransDev Paratransit Safety Team. Let's watch Senior Director of Paratransit and Specialized Services, Antoinette Braddock, surprise them with their Crystal Bus Award.
Thank you, MJ. It's truly an honor to spotlight an exceptional group, the TransDev Paratransit Team. This group has shown outstanding dedication and leadership. They have helped set the standard for what proactive safety should look like. The team is always one step ahead, spotting and fixing potential hazards early, leading by example and supporting others throughout the system. Their everyday actions show just how committed they are to keeping everybody safe. Since Transdev took over the system contract in January, they have implemented stronger accountability and more focused coaching, resulting in fewer preventable accidents. Preventable accidents dropped from 2.48 to 1.6 per 100,000 miles between May and June. Thanks to their hard work, we're seeing real improvements in our safety numbers and a stronger, more caring safety culture overall. We're proud to recognize everything they've accomplished. Please join me in surprising them with the Crystal Bus Award. Hi, safety training team! Well, it brings me great joy to present a team Crystal Bus Award on behalf of our CEO, MJ Maynard, and our Board of Commissioners. The Safety and Training team has done such great work in really a short amount of time to help improve the safety culture of our paratransit. And as we know, the folks that we work with and that we serve in paratransit, safety is more than important, right? It is key, it is critical, and one person can't do it. It takes a small team and village to do that. So again, I thank you, we thank you, but more than us, our customers thank you. So congratulations to the team. We're very proud of you.
So we'd like to say thank you in accepting this award to not only the wonderful team that we have here right beside me, but also Jason Del Toro, who is the safety manager for this location. I want to thank the RTC, the commissioners, and everyone else who was involved, Antoinette, with regards to accepting this award humbly with all the hard work that these folks do. They're the pulse of safety at this operation, and they do their best to make sure that the people who are out serving our guests and the public are transported safely, getting where they need to go. Thank you.
Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations.
Don't get too comfortable. We're going to have you come down here in a little bit, take a photo. But thanks for all that you do. That is a very big deal. This is the, of course, best part of the agenda when we get to recognize such amazing people. And we would like to recognize and highlight an outstanding operator with Tango. They operate our RTC on-demand service. Daytwan Durley was named Grand Champion in RideCo's Excellence on Wheels Awards for the first half of the year. This is actually a North America-wide recognition that highlights top drivers' performance and commitment to rider satisfaction. Daytwan earned the top spot based on the highest combined driver score and rider rating among all eligible operators using the RideCo driver app, and again, in all of North America. So let's watch a quick video with the Tango and RideCo team surprising Daytwan with this honor.
One of the programs most near and dear to my heart, because it's actually what brought me here to RTC, is our RTC on-demand service. It started back in 2021, and since then we have grown to be carrying about 400 individuals a day. And that definitely could not be possible without the dedication from our Tango team, which I would consider a very small but mighty team.
So yeah, this is pretty special. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the award and kind of how it came to be. This is our second time providing this award. Daytwan is the Grand Champion for this year from January through June. The Grand Champion, you have to win in both categories. You have to win in the customer service side, which Daytwan has a 4.9 star rating out of 5. We have the driver performance scorecard, and Daytwan has got the highest rating combined with his customer service and his rating of 13 out of 15 for his driver performance scorecard. And Daytwan, out of, like I said, almost 5,000 drivers, you have the highest score in both of those items combined. So that makes you the Grand Champion this year.
Daytwan is just an excellent employee, excellent driver, very dedicated employee, and I appreciate everything you do out there. No complaints from the passengers. got nothing but 5 stars. Some of them leave comments, excellent driver. He's the best. There's about 40 drivers. He got one of the bonuses for being excellent. There was no accidents, no incidents, no valid complaints. Daquan's the man. That's all I can say.
I just want to thank Tango team. I want to thank Layla. I want to thank Robert. I want to thank all of our dispatchers, Ted, Nina, Mo, and everybody on our Tango team for this award. Appreciate you guys the most, and thank you to RTC as well.
Is Datewan here? Oh, stand up. There you go.
Okay, so Datewan and the paratransit security team, come on down. It's the, again, it's the drivers, it's the bus operators, the mechanics. They make the wheels turn and keep our customers happy. We could not do what we do without them, so thank you so much. So next, our Deputy CEO, Rob Stevens, is going to provide you with an update on the state of our transit system. This is something that we do 1 to 2 times a year, so I'm going to go ahead and turn over to Rob.
Thank you, MJ. For the record, Rob Stevens, Deputy CEO. Good morning, Commissioners. What you'll hear from me as I talk through the state of the transit system update, you'll hear 3 common themes. You're going to take a look at our trends through the lens of key performance indicators. We'll pause to celebrate success and highlight some small wins, and then we'll wind up as we look forward to emerging need. In a later slide, I'll share with you how MJ is challenging her team, how to meet these emerging needs, and how to do better. These 3 common themes will be woven into what I call a continuous improvement process. Together with our partners, we'll focus on delivering a first-in-class customer experience. This slide here, the transit ridership and on-time performance. So you see on the left side there is ridership. That's most commonly called passenger trips, but it's our ridership. We've got both these categories, ridership and on-time performance, are up 6.8% in ridership and 1.8% in on-time performance. I will note our peer average here is 78%. You'll hear a little more about our peers in a later slide as I compare us to our peers, but we are doing very well here. This slide is a slide that's going to talk about scheduled revenue service and missed service. So what you should be seeing here is on the left, those are the hours of service. So in 2022, 1.6 million hours of service, nearly 1.8 million hours of revenue service in FY25. So we've increased our service hours and decreased our missed service. Missed service includes trips that are not, runs that don't make it at all, trips that are not fully completed, 10 minutes late, that sort of thing. We do take a look at those trips that we try to categorize them in 2 buckets, things that are under our control and things that are not. There's construction and things going out there that require detours and that sort of thing. but we do categorize them in two buckets. What's important to note is our scheduled service has continued to increase, while the percentage of missed hours has actually gone down or stayed the same. And between FY22 and 25, there have been some significant activity. There's been some challenges that have impacted service delivery. Charleston, Maryland storm drain project in FY22, major road related to inaugural F1 Las Vegas Grand Prix in 23, the transition of fixed route operations to Transdev in 24, Maryland Parkway Bus Rapid Transit, and reimagined Boulder Highway in 25. A lot of activity here, but doing great. Just wanted to report that out. So the trending in the right direction, and we'll continue trying to do better. Next slide is going to be contracted fleet requirement versus fleet availability. So what you should be seeing here, the stack, the blue with the gray stack, is bus peak requirement and spare bus requirements. Those are the buses that are required to deliver service at peak, and the 20% gray there is what's required for buses to be out of service and regular preventative maintenance intervals. 461 in the turquoise bar next to it should show you what our active fleet requirements are. Our active fleet is in the inventory for them. So what you should be seeing there, the takeaway is we have 352 buses available for service in FY25 if you had the 293 and the 59, and the 452 active in our inventory. That gives us 100 buses that are over the requirement to make service. I do want to make a quick note here, though. Of those 100 bus overflow, we do have game day expresses and that type of thing coming up that do require and put a little bit of pressure on that overflow. So it is kind of one of those things that we have to kind of measure very carefully as we go forward. I will make another note to highlight in a recent article published in the Las Vegas Sun regarding work done, keeping our bus fleets healthy and plentiful to meet demand from our customers and to, at times, meet the extreme operating environment in the region. So extreme heat impacts us all, including increasing breakdowns and frequency of buses. MJ and staff have worked with our legislators to educate and inform them on the conditions that we're facing. So with that, we had new legislation proposed by U.S. Representative Dina Titus to expand our spare fleet and to avoid heat-related breakdowns and offer more flexibility. So we're looking forward to that flexibility there that MJ and others have helped champion with our representatives at the legislature. Next slide here, we've got transit fare and advertising revenue. So both those are up. You look at 2% in fare revenue, 24% in advertising revenue. Very good stats there.
Yeah,
so we
have
have
a question.
Just real quick on that advertising revenue, do you know why it went up so much in the last year?
For the record, Angela Castro, we have a minimum annual guarantee with Outfront, who's our third-party contractor. And so there is an increase based on the minimum annual guarantee, but I'm very happy to report that they have exceeded that minimum annual guarantee. Something that we had all talked about and the board had approved was we have digital shelters in the resort corridor, and they also have stepped up their efforts on our transit shelter advertising, and as a result, that's why we've seen those numbers.
Thank you. So next slide will be a little bit on Clark County School District Ride-On Mobile app trips. Big, huge wins here, 35.9% increase to 219 more passes and students are completing more trips. I believe in FY24 we had 8,027, and today we have 8,844 additional trips on this one. So you're seeing the last year 21 schools participated, purchasing the 8,844 digital semester passes for students. That's the contributing factor to the 36% increase from the previous year.
Same question. I'm just curious if you know what's attributed to that. Is it additional marketing to the students, or is CCSD more engaged, or is it just the time that we had up and running, or something else?
Say the question again, please, Commissioner.
I'm just curious why it's up so much. Like, what can we attribute that percentage increase to?
Hey, Rob, I think as It really it has a lot to do, again, with the engagement of Clark County School District and the fact that now, instead of relying on paper passes, we push it out electronically. It has made it much more easier for the students to utilize. So,
Thanks.
All right, Game Day Express. So this season is upon us. The Raiders, Golden Knights, and UNLV football had a small decrease here, 0.9%. I think we'll attribute that to the performance of the teams. So I hope they do much better this season, but it's a small drop, but I think that's where the drop comes from.
One team in particular, let's just be clear.
I stand corrected, but we're looking forward to celebrate big wins this season. So we transported more than 158,000 passengers. So it's a very nice service, $4 round trip, 6 locations that we bring them from to Allegiant and T-Mobile Arena. All right, here's a peer review for you guys. This is a new slide. Staff worked on this for several months. I want to kick this one off by stating something that I got from the APTA 2023 fact book. So we are #1 highest fare box recovery ratio. We are #1 lowest subsidy, #1 lowest operating cost, and 12th busiest system in ridership among our peers. So that's taken from 929 urbanized area transit systems that report in the National Transit-Based Data System. So that's taken from the 23 fact book. So what you're seeing here in the peer review, we wanted to try to set some benchmarks. How are we doing in comparison to our peers? We looked at 5 different systems. Those 5 systems are in Denver, Orlando, Florida, Orange County, California, Valley Metro, Arizona, and Nashville, Tennessee. We're trying to understand how we benchmark ourselves and how we compare to our peers. So the takeaway here is I want to show you is in budget. We have a much lower budget. We have more volume of ridership, and we put out more service hours. So the difference in the 2 key metrics that we're looking at ourselves is the missed service and the on-time performance. Our peers are at 78% on-time performance. We're at 77%. Our peers are at 1.06% missed service. We're at 2.2%. Still room for growth. Still plenty of room for growth. But as we move forward into the new year, we'll remain really committed and close in contact working with our partners to keep improving service while focusing on delivering a first-in-class customer service, customer experience.
Sounds great. Any questions or comments? No. Thank you.
All right, RTC on-demand microtransit. Big wins here, 29.3%. It's a very popular service. Last year we had 150,000 passenger trips through RTC on-demand. It's increased by nearly 30%. I think the reasons attributed here are community. It's a low-cost option, very flexible transit option for them in that region. So nice growth here. Technology use. In all 3 categories, we have increases here. So you have RTC app downloads. On the left top corner, you have RTC passes sold, right top corner, and then you have fare payment scans at 9.8% increase at the bottom. So all of these are increasing, so it just means that people are moving away from paper passes to digital platforms.
Quick question on that. Have you noticed in any of your peer agencies, have any of them ever done away with the paper and it's all digital? Are we at that point yet?
In the United States, I think there's 1 or 2 that have moved to strictly a digital pass or a card where you can add cash to it. But it's really those systems that have either a light rail system or a subway system where you've got a majority. So our mode split right now, about 5% of folks here in Southern Nevada take public transit. In cities where you've got a share of close to 50%, you'll find that there's less cash paying. And so, but it's not typical.
Thanks.
Councilman Knudsen.
This is all great data. I'm excited to look at data. The question I had was, do you track the use of the buses is up dramatically. Do you track like where in the valley are you seeing growth patterns? Is it because of the expansion of the valley, or is it concentrated, and is it workforce that we're transporting back and forth? Who is part of that percentage that we're looking at?
So if the question's about ridership, most of the spikes in ridership are the residential services. They're, I think in the first slide it indicated that. So the lion's share of the increases are in residential services, not on the Strip or downtown. That's where you find that. But I don't have specific data on routes, but I can get that to you. I can get that to you very quickly.
Maybe in the future, like by zip code, like where are we seeing a greater increase? I think it'd be helpful to know that.
We're going to do a monthly update as part of the CEO report. We'll do that next month for you. Okay.
Thanks. Thank you. Perfect. So we'll move on to paratransit. So paratransit ridership and on-time performance, you see of both sides. On the left side, we've got ridership, and on the right side, on-time performance, both up measurably 4.9 on ridership and 3.3% in on-time performance. I'll just tell you, we are very proud of our Transdev contractor and our at this 5% increase in ridership. You can see in this slide we have 1.7 million trips last year. This requires a collaborative effort from our operators, dispatchers, schedulers, and supervisors. So numerous other individuals behind the scene. But I just want to point out here, we are the 5th busiest paratransit system in the country. So that's a big win for us to have increases and have a very efficiently run system with on-time performance at this rate. So very proud of that team, very proud of our team that runs it. So just wanted to highlight that area for you and thank and recognize them for good work. Contracted paratransit fleet requirements versus fleet availability. You see the same message here. The blue and gray stack are peak bus requirements and the bus spare requirements. The turquoise when there's active vehicles. So the takeaway here is that there are over 120 buses that exceed the required number to operate the services. So there are adequate buses for operations. Senior transportation trips, you have a slight dip, minus 4.3%. That includes Silver Star routes. There are 13 Silver Star routes. And just as a reminder, those were the routes, there are 13 of them that were centered around senior living communities to help organize them to get them to shopping areas, many pharmacies and things like that. So the attributed drop in the small percentage drop in ridership is attributed to the 99-cent stores closed along the route. And that was a very popular place to go. So we've seen a drop in that. Some of those stores closed, and that's why our staff, our team is saying that we had a small drop in that there. Veterans Medical Transportation Network. So this is a safety net for our veterans. It is for medical appointments only. The demand does fluctuate, but we do have a large increase here. It is free medical rides to the VA hospital and all VA medical facilities across the valley. So we have veterans that are using this safety net to help them to get medical services. Very popular, very, very good service. Mobility trained customers. So this is a very cool training option that we give our folks at our mobility training center. The staff, RTC staff, help train clients to travel more independently through our transit system. So it's an opportunity to offer them what I would call dual eligibility. If you're an eligible paratransit rider, we teach you how to use the fixed route system, which is easier, relieves the demand on the paratransit system and is cheaper for them and cheaper or less expensive for us. There were 886 customers that used the service in 25, an impressive 30% increase. So the team out there at the MTC are doing a great job getting folks equipped to be more independent. And then this slide here just talks to the cost savings that's achieved under this system. And Antoinette and her team do a great job. So they've learned to, paratransit by the nature of it is very expensive. In addition to ensuring the service is safe and efficient for our customers, they found ways to save money in these 3, 4, 5 buckets. So the first one, the non-dedicated service, is our subcontractor has subs underneath them, and it's per trip cost as opposed to an hourly cost, so it's a little bit cheaper. So we found ways to include others and subcontractors to provide the services. You have your Medicaid reimbursements, which is helpful. Reimbursements are the physical assessments and the Medicaid eligible that ride our service have done a great job of recovering additional revenue there. And our specialized services there in the middle box of $4,892,000 is they found a way to capture that savings by partnering with the adult daycare providers, where those guys provide this service and we help them support that system. Instead of riding our service, they ride their own. And so those are innovative, cool ways to do that. And I've talked a little bit about mobility training. That saves us money too by moving those folks over from the paratransit system to the fixed route system, which is less expensive to run. So very proud of the team to save $24 million plus in those innovative ways to do that.
Very impressive.
Yeah, they do a great job, great stuff. They get very, very, very highly dedicated team, very, very professional. If you don't have any questions for me on this slide, I'll move over and I'll hand it over to DCO David Swallow to follow up on transit facilities and amenities.
Any other questions? All right, Mr. Swallow.
All right, good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. So I want to highlight for you the transit amenities that we have throughout the valley to serve the nearly 56 million customers. As you can see on the slide, we have over 3,700 bus stops throughout the Southern Nevada region, particularly in the metro area, with over 1,700 of those having actual bus shelters. Where we don't have bus shelters, we do put in standalone LED solar-powered lights to ensure that our customers have a little bit more comfort and feel a bit safer while waiting for the bus at night. Happy to report that we are really looking to expand the number of shelters greatly throughout the valley. And so as you can see on the slide, these are prototype pictures from just last month at a local production facility. As you see on the left, we have what are called our slimline shelters. These are the ones where right-of-way may be constrained, that you have a 5-foot wide sidewalk and maybe a block wall at the back of walk. There's not enough room to put a full-size shelter. So we have kind of these skinny shelters that we put in that still provide some shade. They actually do have, you don't see it, but they do have benches that folks can sit on. These newer ones, we've increased the amount of lighting. They also are solar powered and provide a little bit of wind protection and again, shade and lighting. Our new general market shelters, you see in the middle there, we have 150 of those that we're producing that will be deployed throughout the valley. We've changed based on our leadership's vision to change kind of the aesthetic of the current bus shelters, going away from the wavy roof to really look at maximizing the shade that we can provide with a flatter rooftop. So that's what you see there. And then I'm excited to report about a new shelter design concept that is finalized design. It's going through the reviews through all the jurisdictions to get final approval. But these are what we call our dual directional seating. So people where sometimes the sun is just going to face the people waiting at the bus stop. And this is similar to what you might see on Sahara Avenue on the north side of the street, where we have seats that face away from the road that have that screen. So even if the sun is going directly into the shelter, they do have some relief from that with the shaded areas. So we'll be putting those throughout the valley. So I'll show you here on a map. This is where the over 1,700 shelters are throughout the system.
Just one quick question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's all very good information. On the shelters with the new design, are we incorporating space for advertising given the increase we saw in advertising revenue?
So yes, let me cue back right here. If you look on the right, you'll see that there is an ad panel, just like we have on the Sahara shelter. So we do preserve that advertising revenue. Thank you.
If you want to mention, we try to utilize federal dollars for our capital efforts. And so, David, the new shelters, the ones that are coming, they're grant funded for a cost of about $24 million. So for our rolling stock, all of our buses and our bus shelters, we use grant funds.
Yeah, thanks, MJ. One other thing I want to point out is what you don't see on this slide are the new larger shelters that are under construction as part of Maryland Parkway. We're going to have 44 new BRT stations along that corridor, much more robust than what you see on the slide here. In addition to that, the City of Henderson is building out the Boulder Highway project. You have 34 new shelters that will go in as part of that project. And then the GoMed project, which is going into the Las Vegas Medical District, another 24 smart shelters that we're putting throughout the medical district. So looking at the map, you see here, this is the over 1,760 current shelters throughout the valley. These are the new shelter locations that we're putting in. As you can see, a lot of them are along our major corridors, beefing up where we have the network throughout, but also where we have new routes, we're building that out. And so when you combine it, you can see here that we're adding nearly 500 new shelters in the next few years throughout the valley. And this, I think it's worth noting, aligns with, if you recall, we did the urban heat island heat study to see where the most vulnerable areas of the valley are in terms of heat stress. And you can see that that really aligns well with where we're investing in putting in new shelters throughout the valley, or already have them. Finally, at our Bonneville Transit Center in downtown Las Vegas, with the recurring extreme heat, we thought it was, even though there's air-conditioned space inside, we do have a courtyard adjacent to the lobby area. And while we have trees, we wanted to add a little bit more shading. So we added some temporary shading over the summer. Found it was pretty popular, so we're looking to implement a permanent shade structure by next summer. And that concludes my remarks. I'll turn it over to Deputy CEO Angela Castro.
Good morning, Board. For the record, Angela Castro. While I was scheduled to give the safety and security presentation, I think we can all agree that it would be more meaningful if it came from our Senior Director, Tom Atterbury. As you know, Tom is extremely experienced, knowledgeable, passionate, and relentlessly driven. And so I've asked him, in lieu of me reporting the stats, for him to give you this update.
Thank you, Deputy CEO Castro. Good morning, Chairman Jones and honorary board members. For the record, Tom Atterbury, Senior Director, Safety and Security Operations for the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada. Today, 9/11/2025, is actually my 2-year anniversary with the RTC in this role. And I'd like to sincerely thank the board for your support, guidance, and comments you've made to the RTC and to myself to make our community safer. I'm proud of the progress we have made with safety and security in the last 2 years, but I'm most proud of the relationships that I've built and trusted collaboration I have formed with the ATU, the coach operators, and the Joint Security Committee. It must be a one team, one fight effort in order for all of us to be successful. The RTC has followed the FTA's directive and always has reported physical assaults, and the first slide will cover the assaults. As a reminder, the National Transit Database defines an assault on a transit worker in which the attack involves physical contact with the transit worker. This could include physical contact with the victim from the attacker's body, a weapon, a projectile, or other item. This includes punching, kicking, slapping, stabbing, being shot, or even being spit on. Starting in January of 2024, RTC also began reporting non-physical verbal assaults to the FTA. Non-physical verbal assaults include verbal threats, intimidation, and harassment against transit workers. In FY25, we had 166 non-physical verbal assaults on operators. Next slide, please. This is the passenger-on-passenger assault slide. Passenger-on-passenger assaults increased from 99 to 190 from FY24 to FY25. This equates to one passenger-on-passenger assault for every 293,433 riders. Passenger-on-passenger assaults tend to fluctuate every year, especially when you have 3.5 million more riders on your buses. It is very hard to control human nature in this category, and very few of these incidents require medical attention. With approximately 350 intercon security officers, we continue to use CompStat analysis for our route deployments by placing security officers on our hot routes where our tactical and strategic intelligence dictates placing more security. It should be noted we have only had one dark post in the last 14 months. Again, we place our officers where the action is, where the crime is. And if you're interested, I also have a breakdown of the 190 incidents broken down by which each one of these were, if anybody is interested on this, before I go to the next slide. Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. Passenger on operator assaults, which we are very concerned about and very passionate about. Overall, passenger on operator assaults increased slightly by 7.7% from 26 to 28. 4 of those 28 incidents were spitting incidents. That equates to 1 passenger on operator assault for every 2 million riders. Even though we went from 26 assaults in fiscal year 24 to 28 assaults in fiscal year 25, we transported 3.5 million more people on the buses. So if you compare the numbers between the 2 fiscal years, we actually did better. Although 1 incident is 1 too many, proactive security deployments such as driver barriers and operators proactively de-escalating incidents play a key role in keeping the numbers steady. And I credit TransDev, they did a good job and they stepped up and put on de-escalation training for their drivers, and the drivers have actually done a real good job of de-escalating some of the incidents. I am proud to report we have not had a death on a bus or at a facility in the last 3 years. For the fiscal year, we had a total of 20 operator on passenger assaults. Again, this is operator on passenger assaults. We had 20 of those in fiscal year 25. This is a trend that I don't like, and I have been working with Fixed Route and TransDev to course correct, reminding the coach operators to try and always de-escalate, follow their training, and call security. Next slide, please. My last slide will cover security enhancements. We continue to have phenomenal relations with our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners in the Valley. Not a day goes by that we are not assisting Metro with video surveillance or locating a suspect that was involved in a violent crime. My team has reviewed 430 videos for accuracy before turning them over to Metro or other law enforcement agencies. Just recently, a member of my team was also recognized for outstanding technical surveillance work on the Tesla arson attacks, which, as you know, gleaned national media attention. We continue to mitigate and reduce incidents throughout our transit system by layering security. On a monthly basis, my team also averages 450 contract compliance observations. They're basically going out in the field and looking for flaws, and then reporting that back to Intercon to make the quick corrections. The team does a great job and is headed up by my manager, Judy Lopez, and supervisor, Robert Palumbo, and they do a phenomenal job. In fiscal year 25, we increased removals from RTC properties by more than 55% to nearly 174,000 passengers, and trespasses were up 35% to 715. Removing and trespassing disruptive passengers are preventative measures to reduce crime. We listen to the feedback from the coach operators and the public and continue to be the first to deploy 550 nano panic buttons to all of our coach operators, in which we had 46 activations in fiscal year 25. We have also recently deployed another 70 nano panic buttons within RTC for our various departments to protect them. We are also the first to layer our security posture with Zero Eyes, artificial intelligence, firearm detection on all of our properties. Lastly, our legislative team did a great job and moved Senate Bill 290 through the legislature. SB 290 codifies the law and provides our security contractor, Intercon, with the authority to remove disruptive passengers from buses. As a reminder, we now have over 300 armed security officers who can respond to incidents more quickly thanks to the support of this board. 3 weeks ago, we started refresher training for approximately 250 intercon security guards that have been on the RTC account for at least 1 year. These training classes are 1 week long and will be running for approximately 20 weeks until complete. I am personally going to all 20 weeks and addressing each class to let them know what is expected of them and the level of professionalism that is expected by the RTC and the community. During this course, special emphasis will be given to SB 290, which becomes law on October 1st, 2025, and codifies into law the authority to quickly remove disruptive passengers from our buses, stops, and platforms. Bad behavior cannot be tolerated or accepted. Our riders and coach operators deserve this. In closing, I would like to sincerely thank the RTC Board of Commissioners for their support and forward thinking to enhance the safety and security for our riders, coach operators, and our community. I'd be glad at this time to take any questions from the board before I turn it back over to Deputy CEO Rob Stevens.
Councilman.
It's a great presentation, thank you. If somebody gets removed from the bus or a shelter, where will they be taken or what happens to them?
It depends on what the incident is. They may be trespassed for a day, a month, a year, or permanently. Recently, we've trespassed, I believe, as many as 4 people permanently for really egregious behavior. If Metro shows up, they may be arrested. They may have a warrant for their arrest. It really, Councilman, comes down to what the incident is. So they could be just trespassed off the property and removed from RTC property, or they could be taken to jail. Yes, sir.
Councilman.
Just another question on the trespasses as it starts in October. I know it's very difficult actually to maintain or prevent someone who's been trespassed to return to a property. The casinos deal with that all the time. Do you have plans in place yet? If not, I'd love to be able to talk with you or work with you in the coming weeks or months to address that. But I guess my direct question is how are we going to prevent people that are trespassed or track those people that are trespassed from getting back on at a different location?
Sure. We keep a manual of who's been trespassed. The guards tend to work the same beats. You know the verbiage from being a police officer. They work the same stations, they work the same routes, so they know the faces on who's been trespassed and who hasn't. The people that have been permanently trespassed, we just recently started a book where we're putting their pictures in a book so the operators can see who is actually being trespassed permanently. So that is the system we have in place right now. But typically, the guards that have been on these routes, they know who have been trespassed before in the past, and we also have a book that keeps track of it.
Very good, and again, to the team for passing that. That's significant to protect our employees as well as our customers on that, so thank you, and thanks for your team and taking the time to address each class as well.
No, I just echo that this was a priority of the board a couple of years ago, and operator, ATU, all pulled together to make this happen up to the legislature and really find the solutions to make us truly more safe in our system. And I think it shows in our ridership going up. We can't provide a system that people want to ride unless it's safe, and we've prioritized that. And I think that is part of why people feel safe getting on our bus system, and that we're increasing in ridership. So congratulations to all of you. Yeah, Councilman.
I'm sorry, one last question.
Yes, sir.
And maybe it's just a request, actually, is this city, and I think the county has something to the equivalent of an order out corridor for individuals who are trespassed out of certain areas for a variety of different reasons. Will you have an ability to share those people who are trespassed permanently with the court system, so if they do end up going through the criminal justice system, they know that the RTC has that trespass on that person?
Anything we have we're an open book. For public safety, we'll be willing to share anything to help other jurisdictions.
I think that'll be important to share with Metro or the prosecuting attorneys so that they're familiar with that expectation.
Yeah, be more than happy to. Since I've been here, I've put an emphasis on collaboration and working with law enforcement to make the community safer, so no problem on that.
Thank you, Mr. Atterbury.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'll turn it back over to Deputy CEO Rob Stevens.
Thank you, Tom. All right, so this is the final slide here. You've heard me speak to trends, and we've done that through the lens of key performance indicators. You've heard me speak celebrating success, highlighting some small wins. I want to end with how we'll address emerging need at the year going forward. MJ has challenged her staff and contractors and partners to do better, right? So in addition to continuous improvement process, the state's focused on setting these goals and key performance indicators. We'll benchmark where we are against our peers, what's possible, what can we do to get better, take actionable plan, like how can we improve on-time performance, how can we improve, and reduce missed trips. We're getting out, engaging our customers and supporting the operator by spending time in the field, gathering their feedback, and asking, how can we do better? What do we need to do to improve? So MJ's challenge was very simple. How do we understand what our customers need, and how do we support our operators? And how do we do that if we don't use our own product? So last week we began where we were engaging this and doing these things by riding the buses all day long. And I have to tell you, we were in a group chat. We all were in there. And so we were getting these reports from all of us. We're letting us know what we're seeing, what we're getting the feedback on. And we're all trying to find out where MJ's at. So I said, hey, I know where you're at. And she said, was, because she's moving pretty quick. So we kind of had a report card afterwards about what we've seen, what we've done. I think Seabach, we went out to Boulder Highway. He kind of knows what we're talking about. So we're doing more of that so that we can get feedback, make actionable plans, hear from our customers, support our operators, and do better, put a plan together to do better. So with that in mind, what we're doing is we'll be overseeing the next fixed route RFP, making sure we're fine-tuning that adds those elements in if we learn anything as we move forward. How do we achieve first-in-class customer service, and how does that look like in an RFP and a request for a proposal? As we continue to find transit funding, be good stewards of public funds that we have now, and just return a good investment on that, make sure that the ROI is good. Strive for excellent customer experience, and that's driven from the top down. And then improve service through driver mechanic performance, through our contractor partners, and just making sure that we have actionable plans that achieve the good customer experience. So that's kind of that in a nutshell. And that concludes my presentation. Allow me please to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Councilman.
Yeah, so I want to commend the leadership and that decision, because those that are living, breathing, working in this environment day to day actually have the best solutions. And from a leadership standpoint, when you're going out there, to have that engagement from talking to the riders, talking to the employees, talking to the drivers, security, everyone involved, it's an eye-opener, and it's a great way to stop any buffering of communication and get it straight from the people that probably have the best solutions and best suggestions, or good or bad input. So I commend you for that. And thanks for letting me ride along for those few hours going up and down the line there. So it was an eye-opener for me, so I can be more informed up here. So thank you.
Councilman, any other comments or questions? All right, thank you so much for your presentation.
And I do want to thank actually all of you, because you are a very engaged board. We've taken transit trips with all of you. And, Councilman, you've been out to our BOC. We will continue if you want to ride along with us. We look forward to it. But thank you again, Councilman Seabach. We rode the Boulder Highway Express, and it was a great opportunity again to talk to our customers and to thank the drivers, quite frankly, and the security officers. With that, my CEO report is concluded, and we can turn it over to Director Tracy Larkin-Thomason for her report.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm going to start off. It's a fairly short report, but it's the first part is to bring back the quarterly report, just kind of where we are in the valley and across the state on safety reports. The slide shows our statewide statistics, but I also wanted to point out that in Clark County, fatal crashes are down 3%, fatalities are down nearly 10%, pedestrian fatalities are down 17%, and unrestrained fatalities are down nearly 8%, all good trends. On the other hand, bicycle fatalities are up 60%, and motorcycle fatalities are up 18%. Obviously another trend to be working on. And then I mentioned this last month that there was something we were doing. So Nevada is working, typically NDOT will talk about projects. We're talking about, Tropicana, we're talking about what we're doing across the valley, physically increasing capacity or so on. But I'm focusing a little bit today on what we do primarily. We have approximately 2,000 folks across the states, and almost 2/3 of them are dedicated to maintaining and operating the highway. That's everything from plowing snow, sweeping, debris pickup, regular patching, incident management, first responders, and so on. What we're also recognized is that many times that we have incidents in other states or along major routes that affect what happened within Nevada. We have been working with other states across the nation, and most closely, of course, with our neighboring states, to how we can better coordinate and collaborate on those things that may happen, such as the burning fire, the car in California, that then had that mitigating and cascading effect of closing down I-15 and all the related incidents that went with that and the responses that had to have. So this particular one is, like I said, while we're working with many states across the nation, this particular one was focused on the I-15 and I-11 down here. We held it last week from September 3rd to 5th, and it had all 4 states, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and California. As you can see, the list of the multi-jurors. So it's not just across the state lines. We also are starting to coordinate across sectors and more aggressively going across sectors. A lot of what we're looking at when we're looking at the interstate systems, like I said, crosswing is we're looking at supply chain management, we're looking at military mobility, we're looking at real-time road information and incident management. Both incident management that are planned, such as major construction as Brightline coming up, and those those unexpected ones that come along. So a lot of what we were looking at is doing our mutual aid agreements. We already have one established with California and with Arizona and working on with Utah. This is for those thresholds that are below the governor announced emergencies. So that gives us freedom to go in there and help when it is appropriate. And then also we're looking on strengthening the coordination, enhancing the communication protocols, and identifying other practical solutions for responding to the traffic-related emergencies. And I want to give a particularly big shout out here is to Teresa Gaisner and John Aris of the FAST Center, who led the group on talking about the connections of the traffic centers, San Bernardino County, Salt Lake City, and Phoenix. They have aligned, and already, and the after report, after 2 days, basically 2.5 days of working on this, we've agreed to a number of items, action items to move forward with a 3-month check-in and a 6-month report out. And I have to say, before the weekend was in, John had already put in a 4-page report on what they were doing with their center-to-center operations workshop, the C2C, the traffic operations center. And some of the things are as simple as making sure we've shared our satellite phone numbers for the key personnel, because they do change a lot. And sharing major events, including light construction. So that's going to be for all 4 states, so anything major along those routes. Emergency detour routes, those are and identifying the critical choke points. Again, referring to sometime we have very little redundancy in our system. What can we actually use as detour routes? What can we, and how do we basically get all the information out? So we've already discussed about initiated discussions with other states and integrating the work into a multi-state dashboard as a kind of stealing from Arizona, what they're doing. So we call it R&D, research and deploy, basically rip off and deploy. So anyway, I just want to state that it is really going well. It was an exceedingly well-received workshop. We're doing a lot of follow-up, and this is not only across the agencies across the valley, but across the state that are kind of converging and really looking at how we can better manage those large incidences that come along and just basically shut us down for hours. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? If not, thank you, Ms. Larkin-Thompson. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Tracy. Thanks, Chairman. The next item is to approve your consent agenda, which consists of items 5 through 32 and can be taken in one motion.
All right, entertain a motion. There's a motion on the floor. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is to receive information from our legal counsel. There are no items to discuss, so we can move on to our last agenda item, which is to receive your final citizens' participation period.
Very good. This is the second time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to provide public comment, please step forward to the microphone, state your name, spell your last name for the record. I'm going to go ahead and ask Ms. Jones first if could get her a microphone.
Shelley Jones, SHELLEYJONES.
Can we check the microphone? Sorry. There we go.
Does that mean you're going to buy me lunch? Shelley Jones, SHELLEYJONES. And I like all the programs that RTC offers, although I do have to comment on a situation for this morning. I had scheduled an appointment to be here at 8:15 today, and I was about 5-10 minutes late. So I was a little miffed about that. And I did speak to a road supervisor, and I trust that he will take care of the situation. And what I want to say is people who make appointments, they need to be to their appointment on time, not late. Because there's a lot of medical facilities that do not accept you if you're late. And thank God it was a meeting here today. However, being on time is important to me. Contrary to popular belief, I do have a life. And I'm a very busy person, as a lot of the people who do know me, that I'm always on the go. Anyways, you all have a good day, and I'm looking forward to that lunch.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Next speaker, Mr. Lynn.
Morning. First, let me congratulate all of you on starting the meeting perfectly on time today. I missed the start of it because I didn't think first comment section, I wanted to bring up section 31 and 32 of the agenda items. I came here multiple times last year, and last month when I returned, respectfully, your glass bus. Because of the way the cleaners were being treated, the rate of pay, the enslavement that was happening to them, and it seems that now we're back at the same square one. I will be back next month and moving forward to let you know exactly what that choice that you guys made today will cost those people. With that being said, I'd like to also congratulate the safety team for paratransit. Amazingly, I wish that could happen on fixed route, but our safety team is garbage. It seems that one of the people specifically on paratransit had moved over from ours. I guess they shouldn't have got rid of her. More importantly, they can't figure out the basics of reading for ARB reports, let alone the Linux system that they've engaged, where thank you for going out and talking with operators and stuff while they're riding. And also noticed how you wanted successful operators discussing with passengers. Yeah, that's one of the things that'll set off the Linux system. That'll get a driver written up, customer service, all day long. Again, they're supposed to be trying to move forward and hopefully help customer service, but the customer service doesn't exist in the training department, I guess. With that being said, they also have a seatbelt thing that's going off every 2 seconds. The operators have had to listen to for the last 3 weeks. And nobody can figure out how to turn this off. It's amazingly insane. I'd like to close with, and give the rest to my team. There's a picture here of an individual who came on the bus and asked for a ride. And if he wasn't given said ride, he already had a knife in his hand, ready to injure an operator. It's very important that we watch how we engage with people, but mostly we can't stop everything. But even if he had stated policy, I'm a firm believer that we might not be having this same conversation today. So the barriers that we have passed through law are much need and need to be put in place as fast as possible. I'm gonna leave this here for you. I'm sure somebody else is gonna come up to speak about it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning. Dennis Hennessy.
Not just a driver.
I'm just a driver, correct.
Not just a driver.
Brought my little dog. Hope you guys brought yours, because, you know, there's just a plethora of stuff to talk about today. I mean, what a great meeting with information. MJ, I've been coming up here for many, many years, and it really thrills me to see that in Ramona's legacy, that people from your staff and you guys are now getting out and inspecting what you expect. This is the first time, I mean, I know Mr. Jones, you rode my bus. I didn't know you were there, but you rode my bus once. I just met you today, and I can already tell there's a difference, right? Tom Atterbury gave a great presentation. I can tell you guys right now that Tom's presence has been felt over the 2 years that he's been here. I questioned some of the statistics, and I would ask you, get your dogs out and question them yourself. I believe 3 years is a long time since we've had a passenger on passenger death. And I say that because I was just deposed by a lawyer here from a death on a bus. So I would question that 3-year span since we've had a death in a facility. Like I say, a plethora of things. Tom, I think you all need to take a look at the BOC and the radio communications. It's great that you've got all these guards out there, but yet when it takes a half hour for BOC to get back with you, and then takes 30, 40 minutes on some routes for guards to get to you, and you know this because I've talked to you about situations, you and Judy, you guys are getting played. There's a big list of music that you're only getting the positive things. Ask questions, dig into it. Inspect what you expect, that's great. If you want to go stake out somewhere, go stake out at the dispatch windows. Go stake out at the routes that are once an hour routes. I've got a buddy that does the 119. The last 5 nights on the 119, he's had no bus ahead of him. That means people were waiting for 2 hours. 2 hours. I do the Sunset route, and I can tell you right now, and the guy ahead of me likes to take shortcuts. TransDev's aware of it. They do nothing about it. RTC's aware of it. But again, according to some of your staff members, I'm not factual when I come up here, but I know I'm driving the Sunset route. I know when there's not a bus ahead of me. You need to go sit at the dispatch windows and see TransDev tell drivers, oh, we don't have any keys. We can't give you a shuttle car. Or we don't have buses out in the yard. Bark, guys, bark.
Thank you, Mr. Hennessy. Next speaker.
Good morning. Nice to see everyone looking well this morning. I am Noah Astor, and I'm a driver in this city. A juice was losing air pressure. Supervisor shows up, 1019. Driver calls BOC, 1019 with an air problem. BOC's response, are you sure you cannot continue to pick up passengers? Because your run is almost over. The driver declined. If that had been a new driver, still finding their way and learning, the probability is high that they would have second-guessed themselves as to not get written up, sent home without pay, or suspended, continue en route, potentially resulting in serious or not lethal consequences. Drivers are taught to rely on BOC. In this instance, that reliance could have proven fatal. I am a firm believer everyone in BOC should hold a CDL or at the very least pass the RMV tests. I spent the better part of 3 hours driving around the city with an unsafe tire on a 64,000-pound commercial vehicle because one yard would not replace a tire because the equipment was from another yard. 4:30 p.m. on a Thursday this was. Half a trip on the 104 and a complete round trip on the 117. That's a lot of people out there waiting for me that are now stuck. The state of some of these coaches are shameful. 90% of this fleet would be put out of service from a random DOT inspection. Any illuminated dash light bar low fuel renders the vehicle out of service. These are warnings something is wrong and needs correction, not a battery reset and hope for the best. 80% of the population in Las Vegas depends on this transit system to live their daily lives. As a driver, it infuriates me that a company charged with running a transit system is consistently failing our passengers. We're losing the public's trust, all of us. Yesterday, as you've been shown, I don't know if you've all got a chance to see it, a driver was confronted by a passenger holding a knife behind his back. Transit operators, we are assaulted verbally and physically on a daily basis, including the paratransit drivers, from what I understand. My sister spoke at the last meeting about her being confronted by the same person multiple times wielding a knife. If seeing those emotions and hearing her words did not provide an aha moment for you, stir anger and show the need for immediate action and change, there is a very different problem we face. We not only deserve to be safe, we demand it. In this very room, security are in the wings, they're at the top of the stairs. Do you fear someone will be angry or have a bad day, brandish a weapon of some kind? Maybe you'd be harmed or you'd have no escape? Welcome to the daily life of a bus driver. We live in a city unlike any other. The bones of this city are good. However, the lack of knowledge is run it to the ground. You all have a nice day.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Jeff Pipnich. I'm a frequent rider on the 221. Since June, I've been passed up 4 times at a stop. 5 times overall. Once was out in Boulder City, and that was taken care of. Your stop at Joe Ray and South Las Vegas Boulevard, the light is not on there. Now, only 1 time was it dark there when I was passed over. The other 3 times, the driver never even looked over that way, was not in the right lane to pull over to stop, was in the middle lane, getting ready to turn down there on Cactus. An hour in between bus stops, unacceptable. The other thing that I've just recently encountered is an app that is on your app now that is to identify if you're human or not. It's Cloudflare. It will sit there and repeatedly spin and spin and spin and spin. It says it takes a few seconds to tell if you are human or not. 4 minutes is the best time I've ever gotten. Plus, it's going to be gone by the time that happens. Of that 4 minutes that it's happened 3 times that I've used it. The rest of them, it just keeps spinning and spinning until I get sick and tired of it and shut it off because it's not going to let me see anything. So I have to take, when I can get in there, screenshots of the bus routes so that I can have some kind of idea of when the bus is coming to the stops that I'm at. If it's not going to work in the few seconds like it says, it should be removed. I mean, I don't know why it's there to identify if you're human or not to begin with. And I've also talked to several other people who've used your app. It doesn't appear on their app. It started a couple weeks ago with me. So, I mean, I don't know why it appears on mine and not on others either. Thank you.
Ms. Maynard will come talk to you afterwards. Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, my name's George Smith, S-M-I-T-H. I'm a Boulder City resident, and I've been riding the bus here since the 90s. I lost my driver's license due to medical conditions. I voluntarily gave it up. and I've been riding it for the last 25 years. I remember when it was called the Citizens Area Transit, and I didn't have any problems back then. Now, I'm probably unique in that because I live in Boulder and don't ride it as much as the locals in Las Vegas. But now, this system sucks. It is so bad with breakdowns, with drivers passing people up. I can't tell you how many times. I haven't kept statistics on it. But the drivers just pass up passengers in Boulder all the time. And I ride it every day in Boulder City. And I just can't stand this. One of the things that's happening on the application, the web app, what I call phantom buses. They're there, they're coming in, they're on time apparently. And then 5 minutes before they show up, they just disappear off the app. Now, I found out recently the drivers can log out, and this is how a passenger may not see the bus anymore. Where the bus is still on the transit system, they can still see it, but the passengers can't. And why they suddenly do that, I have no idea. When I get passed up and I have to go to a doctor's appointment, that's not just frustrating. I don't want this bus company in anymore. I think this bus company is the worst bus company that's been in Clark County since I've been riding it for decades now. So a few more things. Again, as one of the other folks said, that the CAPTCHA Cloudflare problem is definitely a problem. When you're trying to find what's the next bus coming in, and you've only got a few minutes because there's a layover, and you can't even get onto the app. I mean, that is not just frustrating, that makes you miss the bus. This needs to be addressed. It's just my opinion that the bus drivers are not compassionate enough. I mean, they're people too, just like we are, but they act like they're over us, the passengers. This happened to me just recently. I was standing in the shade because underneath the awning or the cover provided, they're often made of fiberglass, which is translucent, transmits a lot of heat down through it. And it's worse standing in the shade underneath that cover than under a tree 15 feet to the side. And passengers often do stand to the side. And the bus drivers will drive right on by if a passenger's not standing right in front of the bus stop. So I run over to try to get in front of the bus stop. Is that my time is up?
Yeah, if you can wrap up.
Okay, one last thing I wanted to say then is, it's my opinion that this company should not, the RTC should not accept a bid from this company next year with renewal. And I want to say a lot more, so I'll have to come back next month with the remainder of it, and I'll be more concise in the future. But I do have a lot more to say, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Yes, my name's Derek Bruin. I'm with TransDev, and I'm sorry that Mr. Smith feels that way about our corporation. I just wanted to give some basic statistics about service in August. We averaged 24 complaints per 100,000 passengers in the month of August. The RTT was at 3 minutes and 42 seconds to goal of 3 minutes, so we do have to improve that. That's out of a total of 6,579 radio calls that we receive into the BOC. The priority component, we had 514 calls. We did that on average 1 minute and 20 seconds. The goal is 2 minutes, so we're actually a little bit better than goal there. Overall, non-operator workforce, only 1.8% of the entire workforce is not there at this point with turnover, with attrition. Our safety PAFR is 1.48 with a goal of 1.5 per the contract. Total missed service, we're at 2.9% for the month of August. So the other 97%, we actually made the service. We had 3 different audits during the month of August. We had the DMV and the Nevada Highway Patrol audited 23 different buses with 0 findings. RTC did a safety and security audit. We're still pending the results there. VTC did a maintenance audit. It's a third-party entity that RTC hires to review our buses. They reviewed 44 buses with only 4 defects found. The miles between failure, the distance between the failure, is 27,816 with a goal of 20,000 miles. Billy brought up one issue. We have a new component of lytics where we try to warn the operator if they have too short a following distance or whether or not they move out of their lane without an actual signal on. There is a component about the seatbelt. We do have to turn that off. I told him this morning it'll be turned off by next week, and it'll be turned off by next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to provide public comment? No, but you can come back next time and we can talk to you afterwards. If there are no other public comments, then we'll go ahead and close the second public comment period, and we are adjourned. Have a great day.